Hey you prodigies, ProdCharles here, and in this video I'm going to share with you an analysis of the new images of Bendy Chapter 3 from the actual game that have been released on the Steam store. The game is so close, so let's have some fun analyzing and giving our final thoughts on what we can see before actually getting to play the game. If you're new, remember to subscribe and tap that bell for more cool and interesting horror game videos. And if you can't watch this video all the way through right now, remember to tap Add To and select Watch Later to save your progress, or just do it for fun. All up, the Steam page features 4 new pictures, screen capped directly from Chapter 3, and all of them are branded with the Bendy and the Ink Machine logo. 2 of them will seem familiar to you. They are actually scenes from the release date trailer. I will go over them quickly, but for those who've seen my release date trailer analysis, I will definitely try to keep some fresh analysis in there as well, just so there's something in there for the prodigies who have already seen that. There are also going to be 2 brand new screen caps, so get hyped for that. I will cover the 2 screen caps from the release date trailer environments very quickly in the beginning, and do something a little more in depth at the end for the new screen caps. The first screen cap shows that corridor that Henry walks through, where we can hear what sounds like boots clanging on the ground or something like that. That kind of hints towards a human being in this area. Of course, there's no sound in this picture, so I'm just going to analyze visual elements. I've noticed that there are a lot of vents, and these vents aren't just for decoration, they actually have holes behind them. So what I've proposed is there might be an alien isolation kind of feature where Ink Bendy or a searcher or a new form of enemy can travel between those vents and jump out at Henry at any time. Since we've seen in the reveal trailer that there are stealth elements with the little miracle stations, perhaps we need to be careful about the kind of noise we make or the light we shine or whatever when we play through Chapter 3, so that we do not attract enemies, especially from the vents. We might also have to keep our ears out for the enemies in the vents as well. In the bottom left, we can see a gear. There's no surprise that we will need to be fixing something with gears again. There's even an achievement for it. We can see that the ink pipes are really leaky, so that suggests that we might have to fix them at some point. And interestingly, on the right there's something that we haven't seen in the release date trailer, which is a huge picture of Bendy's face. It actually looks like the damaged picture of Bendy's face as well, the one with ink marks on it and wear and tear. Other than being very creepy, the only thing that I can think of that this is there for is to indicate that this is the Bendy path. As you may know, there are new achievements, including a demon path and an angel path. In my achievement analysis video, I proposed that the demon path could be a whole tourist attraction area for Bendy, and the angel path might be a whole tourist attraction area for Alice Angel. That's what we see in the release date trailer. So this screenshot could be of the demon path, the Bendy attraction area. The area seems really foggy. It looks like there are multiple levels because again, there's that vent on the ceiling with light shining through it. I really think that this might be important later on. And also at the end of the corridor is a door. Where does this door lead? Perhaps it's to one of the workers' offices. Could it be Joey Drew's office? Could it be Norman Polk's office? I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. A couple more quick things to note about this picture. There are a lot of cobwebs, and this is something that I noticed in the release date trailer as well, but I didn't really mention. What if the cobwebs actually slow you down as you move past them? That would be pretty scary. I've also noticed that the pathing for this area is made of interlinked metal chain, so what if our steps actually make a sound on these chains? That might mean in the release date trailer, when we hear what I said was a human, a different human, passing through the hallways, it might actually just be Henry walking. I just don't remember hearing that particular sound in previous parts of the game, but it could just be due to the change in the flooring. The metal might lead to that jangling sound that some people say are bones. In the bottom right here, we can see what could be part of a coffin. I'm not 100% sure on this one, but it could be part of a coffin or could be part of a step, maybe a larger, flatter pedestal, something of that nature. I don't really see this as being anything super significant, as these items in the past have kind of been passive ornaments. We kind of just look at them and walk past them. Perhaps they give a hint towards the story, but as for gameplay, they haven't really played much of a part so far. If what I said about Tombstone Picnic is true, and skeletons or searchers or whatever do just randomly jump out and attack Henry in Chapter 3, then that might be one of the reasons those are there. The second image I'm going to cover, everybody should be super familiar with this. It's what we see at the beginning of the release date trailer, just at a different angle. We can see there are 2 speakers, one to the left and one to the right of an Alice Angel head statue. There are Alice Angel posters everywhere, and it seems like this Alice Angel statue is holding a sign that says, "She's quite a gal." Now all of these things put together, the promotions, the huge statue for Alice Angel, and what appears to be a ticket booth in the bottom left there, as well as a bin or some kind of raffle bin to the bottom right there. All of this comes together to suggest that this area is the entrance for an Alice Angel amusement attraction. We can even see by the doors there. In the release date trailer, we saw they automatically opened and closed, but it was kind of jarred in the trailer. In front of those automatic doors, we can see what look like 2 poles that set up for a rope barricade to make sure that people just don't go in whenever they want to. We can also see a lot of ink coming out from under that door there, so this kind of makes me suspicious about Alice Angel at this point. Is Alice Angel really going to be friendly? I don't think so, because we have to beware more than Bendy, remember? That's what the Twitter page says. The official Twitter page tweeted that message. So that highly suggests that Alice Angel might come after us as well, and it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary to think what an Ink Alice would look like. There are people that might argue that Boris is the one, or there are people that might argue that no one's going to be evil and we'll just find new searchers or some kind of new evil creature that'll come after us, and Alice, Angel, and Boris will actually guide us through these areas. It's definitely very interesting. Again, we see lots of cobwebs, it looks very run down, and overall very creepy. Okay, here is the first brand new screenshot of an area that we've never seen before. I'm just going to point it out right away. In the bottom right, there is a torch. Now, we all remember in the release date trailer that Henry says that there is a dark area and they need to light it up. Perhaps this torch is how they light it up, and maybe that's the flicking sound that we hear when the release date actually shows up on the screen when the light flashes. This is going to be a huge item. I feel like without this item, we won't be able to move through certain areas, so this is kind of scary. If we need to get batteries or something of that nature for this, that'll be even scarier. Remember, this is a 1920s, 1930s inspired era, but we've seen a lot of evidence of all kinds of amazing technology in this building. So who knows, maybe that will be the case. We have to pick up batteries or some kind of fuel if it's actually a lamp. This actually looks battery powered from what I can see, but we would need to see it from more angles. To the left, we can see a Bendy cutout. Of course, the infamous jump scarer in the Bendy and the Ink Machine series. On the bottom right, we can see a huge ink pool. Like, this area is flooded with ink. That is insane. Which means that if we get chased and we have to go through this area, we are doomed. Because any ink creature could probably swim through this really easily, really fast, but we know from chapter 2 that ink slows Henry down. This is a big deal and makes the situation 100 times more scary if we really do have to run away from searchers, and especially Ink Bendy. To the right, we can see some glass windows there, and it's kind of hard to see past them. It looks like there's a storage area behind there with some vents, maybe some pots and pans, I can't really tell. In the middle of this picture, in the far back of the room, you can see what looks like some kind of fuse box on the wall. Again, this goes all the way back to the really old teaser images that we saw with a similar thing. If you can remember, we saw boxes just like this, except their covers were ripped off. So perhaps this will be a consistent puzzle solving element that we'll have to go through throughout the game. I'm just seeing now that these glass windows are also on the right, and it doesn't look that deep in there, so maybe it's just protecting some kind of circuitry or something. It's kind of hard to tell. What do you think? Of course, we've got a massive spider webs again, and I'm not sure if we can walk past that, but if we do, I have a feeling that it's going to slow us down. I just have a strong feeling, or we won't be able to pass it because I can see there's a small opening there to the left of that very thick spiderweb across that entryway to that corridor that hangs above the ink puddle there. And to the right of the screen, I just wanted to bring this to your attention. I'm not sure what this is, but it looks like a very old-fashioned phone box. I'm not saying it's a phone box, but I just wanted to point that out. If anybody knows what that is and the function of that is before chapter 3 obviously releases, then do put it in the comments. To me, it looks like a really old phone box or a really old check-in system where you punch cards in there when you enter your workplace. It could be a storage area for something. That's something we'll just have to wait and see if nobody can come up with anything. And finally, for this image, it's just interesting to see how the ink puddles are spread out across this level. We can see it from the puddle leaking out up to the pillar, up until the ceiling. So whatever's making these puddles, they are agile. They can go wherever they like. They can go on the ceiling, they can go on the floor, they can go on the ink puddles. That's really creepy. If it's actually Ink Bendy, very, very scary, but this could also be the doing of a new enemy. And in the final image, what the heck is that right in the middle? That looks like Boris the Wolf with really skinny legs. Holy cow, is that a searcher? Because if so, that is so freaky. That seriously looks like Boris the Wolf with human features, skinny arms, skinny legs. Could this be a Boris version of whatever Sammy Lawrence was? And by that I mean, could it be a worker who worships Boris the Wolf? Kind of like how Sammy worshipped Bendy. This is actually really disturbing to look at, and the funny thing of it all is it could just be a picture on the wall, but it kind of looks like it has depth from what I can see from this image. Just to the left of that, we can see another Little Devil Darlin poster. Again, I just find it so interesting that this Little Devil Darlin poster has been shown across most of the images and teasers that we've seen for chapter 3 up until this point. There is something going on with that Little Devil Darlin poster, and I'm really interested to know what that could be. Again, we have a troll Bendy cutout, just waiting for a jump scare there. Interestingly, there's a candle next to it. I don't know what the purpose of that candle is other than to provide light, because I do know that these areas are dark. So perhaps there are parts where we're not allowed to use a torch, or where we just don't have access to a torch where that comes in handy. And of course, there are these strange cameras. These look like very old-fashioned cameras. Now, why would they be there? Both of these cameras, we can see one in the middle left and one to the right of the screen, in front of the Bendy cutout, both of them facing that workshop table inside of that glassed off room. What could have been happening in this place? And this probably has the reddest tints I've ever seen on a Bendy teaser to date. It's actually really disturbing. What it looks like to me is that these cameras are pointed at the table to take photos or video or whatever strange technologically advanced technology that these guys have. Whatever's going on here, they're recording whatever's happening on those tables. Why they would do that? Perhaps it's part of the rituals and the process of bringing each cartoon to life. We can see an ink splat on the table, so we do know that ink has been spilled here. Just to the bottom right of that table, we can see a searcher blob, which means that the searchers aren't gone, they're coming back for us. And we might have to go into this area at some point. Next to the camera in the middle left of the screen, we can see a fuse box. So the fuse box puzzle continues, or maybe it's just a consistent ornament across this part of the studio. I'm just noticing now next to the skinny-legged Boris, there could be what looks like a searcher that has already spawned, which is kind of creepy because it looks like it could actually command them. Let's just hope that's not the case. And to the far left, we can see a poster that says, "Work hard, work happy," with a bendy-shaped smile at the bottom of this picture. And holy moly, this kind of suggests that the cartoons were brought to life and they were encouraged to work hard and to keep on a happy face. If these angel and demon paths were actually tourist attractions, then there's a real chance that these cartoons were brought to life to bring them happiness, which is really, really scary. Something must have gone horribly wrong and then they turned against their masters. That's just something that we learn in the very first reveal trailer for Bendy and the Ink Machine. What this poster ultimately suggests to me is that the cartoons weren't happy in the real world. They weren't happy in the 3D world. And so these posters were put up to encourage them to be happy for the sake of whoever came through these attractions. It just makes me wonder what kind of torture or humiliation they went through that led to these posters being put up. Inside that room next to the ink pipe, we can see another gear, which means there actually might be another puzzle where we collect gears to fix some kind of machinery. There have been gears all over the place in the teasers that we've seen so far, and there's been a hint towards a gear achievement in the achievements for Bendy and the Ink Machine Chapter 3, so that seems rather likely. There's also this recurring theme of ink just flowing from the ink pipes, dripping, and it's really unsettling, like they're going to burst at some point. Again, there is an achievement for this as well, but it just makes me wonder how we're going to fix it. If the plunger teaser is legit, then I guess we use a plunger for it. Or maybe it's the gears that we collect that regulates the pressure in some machine for the ink flow. And this red tinting slash smudging that we can see to the left is really unnerving because it's like the first color that we've seen other than yellow. Everything so far has been yellow and black. This is clearly red, which might mean human blood. And if that's the case, we might come across a lot more gore than we're used to in the next chapter, lending to the true horror themes of Bendy. What do you think? I think you should check out these videos that were picked just for you. If you're new, remember to subscribe and tap that bell for more cool and interesting horror game videos. And prodigies, I really hope that these videos help you to expand on how you think, so it helps with your thinking in your daily lives. See ya!